Have you ever ran around your valley trying to complete quests, level up characters? You go to cook a meal only to find out that you ran out of wheat again? Well, listen, friend, I've been there. Welcome in, I'm Steph, and today I'm gonna show you not only what has been so much fun to make, but it's going to make all my OCD besties quiver with excitement, and that is a floating farm island. One of the best additions to DDV has been the floating islands. And when you're watching this, we just got news of more floating islands to be added to the DLCs, and I am so thrilled. I first got the idea from another creator here on YouTube at Opal, who showed a bunch of ideas of things that you can do with the floating islands. And the idea of a farming island that can hold all my crops so I never run out sounded like an absolute game changer. So in this video, we'll take a tour of the island and I will show you how we went from this to this. I've also created a really fun graphic, which I'll pause here so you can take a screenshot if you would like. And in this graphic, I'm basically showing you how I've broken up my floating island so that I'm able to fit every single growable crop that we have in the game. If you decide to recreate this on your own, please tag me on socials or feel free to join our Discord and share, as I would love to see your floating islands and how you've designed them. And without further ado, let's get to the tour. On stream, we started out by building out the actual bones of the floating island. I decided to go with the Sunlit Plateau just because it gives the feel of fall all year round, and that vibe just screams farm to me. So I thought that the Sunlit Plateau would be the perfect place to put my farm island. It's also not an island that I use very often for dream snaps, and I felt like if I really wanted to use an area that looked like this, I still have the bind as a backup, as well as the Sunlit Plateau itself. So here's the bird's eye view of my island. I am so happy with how the finished product came out. Seeing every single crop here so evenly spaced, it is the most satisfying thing ever. And if you look closely at each of my plots, you will see that I have one corner that's taken off. And that is because I wanted to make sure that I left a space for the gardener. Using the gardener does not require any additional mist for you to water the crops. And this is great because it just helps with speeding up the process, especially if I want to do a full harvest and replanting of all of my crops. So one of the things that was very important to me was to make sure that I had more than enough of our money makers, which are our pumpkins. And on this floating island, I have about 8 tiles. And with those 8 tiles, depending on the day and if I'm being lazy to catch the extras, I can earn between 700k and 900k, which is amazing because sometimes I'm lazy and I like to make a lot of money fast. So it's honestly one of the best things about this island, aside from the fact of just having crops ready to go, is also having money ready to go depending on when I need it. So I have a pretty specific way that I am storing my crops. I have these storage chests that are scattered around my farm. And in each chest, I have about 4 crops that I'm putting for each one, along with the seed bags. So in this chest, I have our peppers, carrots, lettuce, and onions. And if you look right behind us, it is our peppers, carrots, lettuce, and onions. So I have these 4 tiles that are tied to this chest. And over on this side, I'll have yet another chest for these 4 crops, which is our wheat, canola, rice, and okra. And those all belong in this chest along with their seed bags. I went ahead and decided to place the Tiana water tower here because it was just so fitting and it's so pretty. I love having it as a focal point down this pathway. And then when you turn into this section, I wanted this overall area to feel like a marketplace. So I placed some stalls, I dropped some of the fruit and vegetables that are in containers, which I think are so super cute. Over here, I have some of the clay vases, and then I have a bit of a little workshop section. So I have a crafting table, a cooking station, and I've also used the vintage chests, which are linked to our home storage. So if I ever want to unload because I'm up here and I just have extra stuff in my pockets, I still have the ability to access that back in my home. So one of my favorite parts of this floating island are these little sections that I have decorated. Again, I wanted this to feel very much like full kind of exploded. So anything that was full core kind of went here. Some of these little areas that I decorated over here are some of my favorites. So this one, I kind of themed it around the beehive that came with the poo set over in the premium shop. This section over here, I gave a very clear fall vibe with the falling leaves. This cart that has the leaves that fall out of it is one of my favorite items that has come in the premium shop. I love the animation and the feel that it gives. So in this little section over here, I wanted to make sure that I placed a companion house. We don't have farm animals, obviously, but I thought the capybaras definitely gave farm animal, especially with the spotted one. It looks like a little baby cow. So I felt like having them over here was just a cute touch. It also brings some movement into the farm, and I kind of love the idea of them just roaming around our little farm section. I know I've said before, like everything is my favorite, but literally one of my favorite things that I have added to the floating island is the water features. The Neverland River Kit was game changing within itself, and chat has described this as looking as a bit of a irrigation system, and I couldn't describe this any more perfectly. I love the idea of having the foliage that's coming out of the water. As with our companions, I feel like it just brings a bit of life to our farm as if we have just some type of rivers or flowing water throughout it, other than our pulsing vegetables. And that leads us to one of my favorite sections of the farm island. Hi, Wally. And that is our little beehive area. This Winnie the Pooh tree is one of my favorite decor items that we've gotten. I would love to see more Winnie the Pooh, but I had to go ahead and again place more of the beehives. I added more water features. And then I decided to place the mushroom house because, I mean, name a more fitting house for a farm island. I'm honestly obsessed, especially with the way that it looks in this section, and the colors goes with the aesthetic. Welcome to Trader Jane's. How can I help you? So what I decided to do for this house was to turn it into our very own Trader Joe's slash indoor marketplace. So I decided to use a lot of the veggie stalls and the fruit stalls because it just really gave marketplace. Alongside the back of the wall, I have this one section where there's like coffee. If you've ever been to Trader Joe's, they always have like the coffee tasting station. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that into this build. So yeah, I have some wares that you can go ahead and purchase. I have some of Timon and Pumbaa's pottery that they have for sale here in our little market. I feel like in the farmers market, there's always little vendors of people sharing their own art and like clay items. So I felt like that was fitting for it. And then back here, I have our little register section where you can go ahead and check out your wares when you're done. I love to enter the store during the golden hour because at that time the lights turn on and it's so cute and moody inside the store, and I absolutely love it. And like the store, I genuinely love looking at it during the golden hour when the sun begins to set. Everything just looks so warm and so inviting. The lights come on and it just looks absolutely stunning. So if you've enjoyed this tour and you would like to see more decor videos and tours of other parts of my valley, please be sure to like the stream and comment below some of the fun ideas that you've had for your islands. I would love to hear them. And while you're there, why not subscribe and join the familia? They would love to have more of you trolling me on streams. And until next time, see you later.